Today we're going to talk about a movie that's probably going to get a lot of nominations coming up this Oscar year.
Yeah, it's been in the discussion since 2023. It premiered at TIFF in 2023, so it's been like a forever wait for this movie to finally be released.
Yeah, got kicked around the film festivals and now got worldwide distribution, and of course now opportunity for us to talk about it. Let's talk Sing Sing.
Yeah, you won't have to listen to either one of us sing.
No.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. I'm one of your hosts, Kyle Goethe from GoatFilmReviews.com.
I am Nick from the St. Paul Filmcast. Thanks for finding us. Thanks for watching. For our loyal fans, thank you for continuing to support the show. Hit the likes and subscribe button. Keep the conversation going by hitting comment down below. We do have a Patreon. Check that out for some great deals, great content, and opportunities to tell us what movies we could review on a future episode. With, of course, a shout out to you as well. And today we're talking about Sing Sing. What's going on? As if we didn't know from the title.
Divine G, imprisoned at Sing Sing for a crime he didn't commit, finds purpose by acting in a theater group alongside other incarcerated men in this story of resilience, humanity, and the transformative power of art.
Okay, so my submission for the Minnesota Film Critics Association, I put Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Supporting Actor Clarence Malkin, and Best Actor Coleman Domenico. And Coleman Domenico was last year played...
He was Rustin.
Rustin, yeah.
He's in everything, though. I mean, he's literally in everything nowadays. When he pops up in the Candyman movie in 2021, I'm like, yes, it's a great movie now.
Yes, yeah. This is directed by Greg Cudor. One of the fascinating things about this movie, now talk about it right way, it projects the life of prison very differently than we've seen about movies about prison, even from the sequel to The Joker.
Yeah, and it strikes me as very peculiar because how it's very focused on the portion of it that is around the acting.
Yeah.
And I guess I would say a minor criticism, I would have liked to have seen more of the prison life that they're dealing with so that you can kind of juxtapose those.
A little more status quo of the beginning to see how it really is.
Yeah, because specifically as you get into, Divine G, played by Domingo, when you get into his life as he's trying to get that opportunity to potentially be free one day, it would be nice to juxtapose those elements because I think that's where the real heart of the film is how he is forced to use this artistry to get over both a personal loss and also this potential loss of himself.
So they use a play inside a prison. It's kind of their little opportunity to escape. I think the character even says it's an opportunity to remind us that we're human again.
That's a great line. Yeah.
And not to get out of the clothes and dress up and put on different clothes, but also it's an opportunity to kind of express yourself and get out of the walls and the confinements of prison. There's a great shot of them just in this confined space with all this stuff they have, but there's nothing to do. It's not like they're rioting, not like there's anger, emotions. There's just, they're there.
Yeah.
Like waiting for something to happen. And I think this is a nice, quiet rendition. It feels palpable to what prison life it is, where it's just a whole lot of nothing happening.
Yeah. Well, I think that's one of the big juxtapositions you have between something like, say, like the Joker 2 film that came out earlier last year, which was, very much about like the hardened edge, the pain, the sorrow, the constant fighting, the overthrowing. And then you also have the elements of like, a Shawshank Redemption where there's things going on, but there's also still that threat of assault constantly that's going to happen to you. And it's like, that's not how all these experiences have to be. And this one is one where like there's that element of concern more about like, what am I going to do with my life here? Right.
I absolutely agree. Mm-hmm. And it's a nice flow of setting up the play, but it's not just showing the play. It's the dynamics of, can we keep the play going? Can we keep keep it interesting? Mm-hmm. It might be cut. What's the benefit of having this? No, not to mention the process of rehearsal is not going the best.
Yeah, well, and you have that when you have people that aren't trained actors that they don't want to do okay at something. If you're especially because you are in a place where your soul is bared on the outside. It is all about your physical intimidation factor. And so to bury your inside soul and to not do well at it means that you're putting yourself out there and not receiving the praise that you think you should have. And that's really what Clarence Macklin's whole journey in the film is. He plays himself in the film. They asked him, do you want to do a kind of a fake version of yourself? We'll change the character a bit. He said, no, I want to do me. Yeah. And he called it arrogant, but I think that's actually really the actor's soul of him is he does have a story that's worth telling.
He's the one that during rehearsal is like, don't come up to me from that angle from prison. And he's like, no, we have to do that. That's what stage entrance is. But
he's not used to someone walking around as blocking.
Yeah, but don't come up on me. And we're still in prison. That's kind of the barrier of reality. Oh yeah, even though we're rehearsing, we're still kind of in prison.
Yeah.
Technically, I like the setups. I like the shots. The location feels authentically prison, and it's framed really, really well. The camera movement's not going to be the flashy thing about it. The flashy thing about it is the really good acting, which I think we'll get some accolades for it, for Coleman, definitely.
Yeah. I think that's what Pat Scola did really well. He shot the film, and he also filmed two major films, I would say, in the last couple of years that are worth noting, because he filmed last year's A Quiet Place Day One, which was a very large, bombastic kind of a film that still showcased character amidst that.
Yeah.
But then he also filmed a very small movie called Pig, with the same director, which
Cage.
very much is people inside of very tight, confined spaces talking in a lot of the film.
Yeah.
And he's able to display those performances while also making that the scenery around them is well shot, beautiful looking, fitting to what it needs to be.
Right, and we have also Paul Raci, who I think we saw from the movie about deaf.
Sound of Metal, yeah.
Sound of Metal, and I think he won an award for that. So you have great performances, and that's really the selling of it. Also, this kind of authentic look of what it's like to really be in prison. Very palpable, and the performance is still once dynamic.
Yeah, I think Paul Raci was the one who kind of surprised me. And it's not that I didn't think he was good in Sound of Metal. I mean, he was nominated for an Oscar for it.
Yeah.
But he surprised me in the film because of how dynamically different his character really is to that one in Sound of Metal. I guess I thought that he had a hearing loss in that film. For real, he played it so well. And so seeing him in this film and getting the chance for him to kind of be the person shaking them up, but then you also see that he's in prison too. Like, I think that's the part that we kind of forget with this character, is that he's here too. He's not just coming over on his days off. You know?
I forgot about that, because you watch it like, is he just coming in to be like a teacher?
Yeah.
But no, he's one of the prisoners too.
Yeah, and so like seeing him kind of break loose when they're all doing kind of their exercises and stuff, and have that chance to spring out, I think that's what makes his performance so strong for me. I also really liked Sean San Jose, who played Mike, who was kind of the best friend of Coleman Domingo's character, Divine G. Yeah. And the fun thing about that in terms of there is San Jose and Domingo have actually been friends for like 15 years. So you can see that chemistry that they have as friendships. They have a good interplay.
Yeah, I think that's where the movie really sells, is these dynamics.
Exactly. And again, well shot by Scola, because that scene where they're talking to each other at night before they go to bed, I didn't realize that they were in two separate cells until the end of that shot where it panned out to the shots, right, and they were talking through their, and it's like that alone, like there was an intimacy to that interaction, but they're also separated by a wall.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of is really that the entire thing is that the film is about intimacy while separated.
And you get that feeling, and I'm going to talk about at the end here if you haven't seen it, but that ending of, even though they're done with prison, I don't think it's ever going to leave them.
Yeah.
I think they're still going to be part of it, even though they'll be out of prison physically. I still mentally be hard to even escape the mentality of being in there for so long.
Yeah.
You get that sense that even though they're out, it's still going to be with them.
That last shot of Divine G and Macklin as they are like, as they're kind of staring off at the sun together and like having that moment, that's a really powerful shot, because there's a lot of catharsis, there's a lot of earned joy there, but there's a lot of sadness. But you also know that shot would not have happened, that relationship would not have happened if not through this rehabilitation through the arts program. Biggest fault for me is I'm frustrated by the fact that I don't think the Blu-ray for this film is going to have the entirety of Breaking the Mummy's Curse, or the Mummy's Code, which is the play that they're performing. I would love to have seen the entire play beginning to end.
Okay. Yeah.
When I was watching it, I was like, wait, now hold up, where's Hamlet?
Right.
What's Freddy Krueger? I want to see that play, and if it's not a special feature on that home video release, that's it.
And the costuming is not working, and the alterations and all that stuff, right? So, if I put in their top 10 lists of best films of the year, it's also on the top 10 for the National Board of Film Review, and it's in my top 10. And I know a couple of our colleagues, it's in their top 10 as well. And what do you think of our assessment of Sing Sing? Have you opportunity to see it as well?
Yeah, it's actually returning to theaters, I think, the weekend of January 17th, which is about the time when this episode's going up. So if you haven't had a chance to see it, head on out to theaters. I think it's a good shared experience with people. I'm sad I had to watch it at home.
Yeah.
By myself. It was me and my cat, so I guess we had a shared
experience. We got a visual,
we
got an email screener and a physical screener.
Yeah. And it's one of those movies that I think is a good shared experience. I'll probably head out and check it out on the 17th, because I think it'll be one that will be fun to see because of the film's inherent reliance on improvisation I think those movies tend to work best. So let us know your thoughts down below.
Right.
And maybe give us your favorite Coleman Domingo performance, because he's
really did nail
underrated
that
in
Rustin,
everything. Yeah, Rustin especially as well. I'm a Walking Dead fan, so I've always got 8 seasons of him. But but yeah, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
You can find my top films of the year over on goatfilmreviews.com, as well as my most anticipated films and my top 20 newest or biggest, discoveries from the last year.
Okay. And you can find my reviews on St. Paul Filmcast, as well as my show, the St. Paul Filmcast, anywhere you find podcasts.